Lay with the foam roller lined up with your hairline and put a pillow or something that's just below your shoulder blades. That way you'll be able to protract and retract your shoulder blades with increased range of motion. Now lower your arms down by your side and focus on tucking your chin into your throat, feeling that foam roller lining up right with your hairline, opening up the back. You should feel like the deep neck flexors in the front of your neck are working. Now from here, turn your head just 1 or so inch to the left and repeat that chin tuck. You'll feel a stretch at your suboccipital region, and then try the same thing to the right. Try to keep your jaw muscles relaxed as you chin tuck. You may feel that just at your hairline or the suboccipital region. And then come back to the center with a few more chin tucks. Remove the pillow and repeat the chin tucks. So you're activating your deep neck flexors here. And then do some cervical rotations and then some nodding. This may or may not be better for you with the pillow or without, so try both. Now reposition the foam roller and line it up at your upper back. So your feet are going to be on the floor, so your knees are bent up, your bum is on the ground, your head is resting in your hands, and allow the muscles of your neck to relax. So let the weight of your hands, the weight of the head sit in your hands. And you're going to bend over backwards so that you're getting an extension moment of your thoracic spine. Exhale as you release. You may hear cavitation or a little pop, and you should do this at several different spots along your spine. That exhaling is super important. Now you're going to lift your bum up, pushing through your feet to roll through your spine. So you can go from about your mid-back or the bottom of your rib cage as far up as you can go on your shoulder blades without falling off the roller. Moving on to your arms, you're going to be on your side. It's usually more comfortable to have your knees bent up. You're going to start at your elbow and work all the way to your armpit. Sometimes it's best to divide that arm into 2 separate sections. And here we're working on the armpit and the axilla. Instead of rolling through the armpit, I like to do that rolling back and rolling forward. You're going to find some trigger points there, and then move on to your lats, your lateral scap. Supporting your head with your hand can be helpful here. I also like to roll back and forth with the roller here. Instead of rolling up and down, it can just be a really sensitive area there. And switching to the other side, starting with the tricep. If you rest the opposite hand on the roller, that can just help to guide you. Take a little bit of the pressure off. So go all the way from that triceps tendon to the top of the upper arm. Play around with whether or not it feels best to have your head supported with your hand. And moving on to your armpit there. A little bit of rolling up and down, but the rotation is really, I think, the most effective way to get your trigger points there. Obviously, spending more time in the areas where you feel like there's more tension. Keeping that breath going too. So if you're holding your breath, the muscle is going to hold. So exhale and breathe. So we'll move down to the QL. So that QL is just above your pelvis, a muscle that connects your pelvis to your rib cage. It's a pretty sensitive area. So you can do a little bit of shifting the weight up and down, but again, I think the rotation here can be really helpful. With your hips at about a 45-degree angle, you're going to line the roller up to your lateral glutes, lateral hips, so you'll be on your glute medius here. Now working the lateral hip. This is a low density foam roller, so you can tolerate going over that greater troch. If you had a high density foam roller, you don't want to be rolling over that bone that sticks out too much. Now moving down the outside of the leg, we're doing the upper portion of the IT band here. Reposition that roller, now do the lower part of the IT band. That top leg can be bent with the foot on the ground, that's your push-off point, and if you bend the knee of the leg that you're working, you're going to feel that even more in the IT band. From here, we're going to move on to the lower legs. Ends up being a little bit of a core work here, but getting the outside of the lower leg can be really helpful. Let's flip to the other side, starting with the QL on the opposite side. So again, you don't have to roll. Just because it's called the roller doesn't mean you have to roll. Sometimes just letting gravity do the work is great. Leaning forward and backward can be super helpful, so you can get actually into your hip flexors, your iliopsoas, as you roll forward. And then moving on to the lateral glutes with your knees bent up. Again, this is a lighter foam roller, so you can tolerate more rolling over bony prominences than you can if it's a high density one. And then with the IT bands, that top leg can be bent, and that's your push-up point. Usually dividing the IT band into 2 or 3 sections. And then definitely spending some time with that bottom knee bent. And that will change the pressure through the IT band and the vastus lateralis. And finishing the side body, we're going to move on to the lower leg. Anterior tib. Now you're going to come and actually sit on that roller. So you're working your sacrum and your upper glutes. Knees are bent, hands are behind you. So when you find a sticky spot, spend some more time there. From the upper glutes, we're moving on to the hamstrings. Hamstrings, particularly with a light foam roller, you're not going to feel a ton here, but it's good not to skip over any parts. Try both with your knee straight and your knee slightly bent. Little core work there. Shake the wrists out. It's a lot of pressure on your hands, so make sure you pay attention to that. You'll get a lot out of foam rolling your calves. So starting off sweeping from the knee to the ankle. Bum is up in the air. Finding those spots that are sticky. So what can be really helpful here on the calves is to pull your heels together, toes apart. So you're working the lateral portion of the calves. Shake those arms out. And these are called frog legs, where you bend those knees. Feet staying together. And if you crisscross one leg over the other, you're adding more pressure in the calf. Switching sides here. So work within your means in terms of your wrist tolerance for this. You can always lower your bum down and point and flex the feet, because you'll get a lot out of that as well. So here I'm showing if you leave your bum on the ground but just pull the knees in and out, you may find that that's a better way to work through your calves. You can still pull your heels together with your toes apart to get the lateral portion, or point and flex the ankles. Fix your shirt before you move on. And now we're going to move into your pecs. So you can actually rest your head right on that roller. And there's no rolling here. You just let gravity do the work. You can extend that arm if you'd like. Change the pressure on the pecs. This is a better angle when I do my left side here. So let that roller line up diagonally across your chest and let your head just relax. And if you extend that arm, there are some very sensitive nerves right through here, so that might light up your whole arm. Good. So moving to the front of your hips, you want to find the bony parts of your hip, pointing right to your ASIS, and you're going to line the roller up to just below that bony prominence, just doing one side at a time, taking the other knee and resting it on the roller. You'll be on your forearm here on that right side. So the rotations are beneficial. So you're not on that bony prominence, you're just below that. You're getting a muscle called your TFL. So you can roll up and down, but the muscle itself is only about 3 inches wide. So you don't want to be rolling over that bone. Switching to the other side, rolling up and down about, let's say, 2 inches, and then doing those rotations is also really beneficial. So now that we've done that hip flexor, we're going to move on to your quads. So again, you're going to be on your forearms. No need to aggravate the wrist here. Keeping that belly engaged, so you do not want to have an arched back here. You're going to go from the hip down to just above the kneecap. Start with your legs straight, and then go ahead and bend those knees, and you can windshield wiper the legs side to side. And you can do that windshield wipering on several different spots along your quad. So if you shift that weight and try that windshield wiper in a couple more spots, you can actually drop the legs and then roll. You'll get a bit of adductors there and more of the distal IT band. Keep that belly engaged so you're not in an arched back position. And moving on to the shins. This can be a lot of work on the calves. You need to be on your hands for this one to have the room to do this. Your pre-tibial region is pretty sensitive. There's not a lot of meat there, so you don't need to spend too much time there. And then come and lay down right on that roller. So if you have a long foam roller, one that's 36 inches in length, you should be able to lay right on that so your head is supported, your bum is supported, your knees are bent up, and you're going to windshield wiper the arms up and down.